Hey, good morning, world. I want to share some encouragement with you that I believe is important for this time that we are living in the world. And we are living in the midst of great tension, great crisis, but also you can sense there is something opening up. This goes beyond just the economy and things that are opening up. There's something deeper that is starting to open up in humanity. And we are we've heard these things that are becoming cliches to some of us, but we still don't want to miss the substance of them. For example, we can't go back to the old ways, right? There's a new normal, stuff like that is coming out. Well, that's so true, but my heart has been, how do we help you and how do we help people to transition into this new thing, because we are moving into something new. And it's not just the result of a pandemic or a crisis, it's the result of people who are waking up further into some of the positive realities of the possibilities that can be great for our world. And of course, it's very hard for people if you're connected to just the news and to bad news and some of these injustices that we're seeing. Um, you have to move beyond that. You have to focus on something that's deeper, that is able to swallow that up, right? So that is sort of, hold on, my cat's coming to say hi. That's George, named after George MacDonald. But here's something that I want to share that has been powerful for me and something I'm still processing, but want to give the key and the encouragement to you because I believe it can help us to move forward. There's this invitation, like I said, that there's a new thing. So we've never seen it before. We've never seen something that is trying to emerge, which means that our old mindsets, our old way of seeing cannot access that. We cannot access the understanding that we need, because something that is coming forth and is now here is entirely new. And that's a really awkward position. It's a liminal space, and it's a really awkward place to be because we are not used to that. Most of us have lived our whole life developing some sort of awareness and idea of what to expect, of how things are, and what are whether it's cultural or spiritual sort of guidelines we follow to, to keep track of where we are. And now people are waking up and they don't know where they are. And so it's difficult to use language, but there's the number one key is to recognize that God is with you, that God will never leave or forsake you, that your Creator is always, always, always working for you and for your good to make you aware that regardless of what's going on and all the ways that you used to feel safe, even when those crumble, God is with you always. Okay, that's a thing that if it doesn't make sense, I want to tell you that it's true. And if you can come to somehow access a tiny bit of that wisdom, a tiny bit of that truth, to find God with you beyond the mental constructs that you've developed and gained over the years, it will be a major foundation or a locking point for you to feel safe regardless, right? So even if it doesn't make sense, God is with you, and that's the number one key. Number two, as you glimpse that and you recognize that the old mindsets, the old ways of thinking and seeing cannot access what is coming forth in the world, you lean into that and you rest in God, in that, in order to find maybe one or two things that you can start to see differently. For some of you, just knowing that, hey, the old way of thinking, if I can just come to some level of terms with that, then I can start to glimpse something new. I can at least prepare myself to see something different. And just being like, why am I trying to figure this out? Because if my old mindset cannot see and cannot perceive what I'm supposed to be seeing, then why am I trying to keep going over it in my head through these processes that are never going to work? Okay? So, how can you position yourself to just be still, or to think differently or creatively outside of what you are used to? And what is that key that you can feel the life on? For some of you, it might feel risky. It might feel scary. And fear is not really, it's not our best indicator of truth, but it can be helpful as long as you feel something deeper than that fear trying to push forward. You'll get what that means. Let me read this to you. Now, I have been seeing 222, or sequences of twos, for a very long time. This was before February, and there's a lot of meaning to it, but there is a passage, I believe it's Mark 2:22, where Jesus is giving an example that you cannot put new wine into old wineskins, because basically the point of that word picture, is that you can't put new things into these old structures, these old ways of thinking, these old anything, cultural things, religious things, understandings, these parameters. The new thing can't fit in them. It will burst them. It will destroy them. And so you need new wineskins in order to put the new wine in. Okay? So that is this idea. Some of you will probably be resonating because you've been seeing twos. Now the other aspect of this is Isaiah 22:22, and I want to read it that in a correlation to Revelation 3:8, that Francois, in the Mirror translation, he kind of hits a phrase that I want you to see. And Isaiah 22:22 essentially says, the key of David is laid on your shoulder, and there will be doors that open that no man can shut, and there will be doors that close that no man can open, or basically no one can open or close. And so this is the promise that we're given right now, that there are doors that are opening that no one can close. So we could fight for them to be closed, and it's not going to work. Or we could position ourselves to go through those doors that have never been opened before. This is the first time in history that some of these doors are opening, and they will not be closed. So you can deny that they have opened. You can try to rely on your old mindsets that judge what that door is. For some of you, there will be doors that close, and it will feel like a warfare. And actually, it's God closing the door. It's not the devil or some evil force. It's actually God closing the door. And for many of you, that will be very hard, because you thought that door, that open door, was God, that was the way, the truth, and the life, and that was just how it was. But again, the old mindset can't access it, and God is shutting that door. And so this is good wisdom, that you don't judge God as the devil, or as evil, or as some kind of warfare that's closing the door, when it's actually God doing it. Okay, so this is what it says. So I'm going to read Revelation 3:7, and then he highlights Isaiah 22:22 in the scriptures for those who want to read it. And to the messenger of Ecclesia at Philadelphia write, I am the holy and true one, I hold the key of David as prophesied in Isaiah 22:22. Yes, I unlock the mysteries of the heavenly dimensions, and no one can shut the door. And I lock the entrance, and none of the old mindsets can access it. And I love how Francois did this. He said, and I lock the entrance, and none, and in parentheses, none of the old mindsets can access it. So this is the wisdom right now. There's a new thing here, and these doors are opening that have never been opened before. And so do whatever you need to do. Try some new things. Just remember the old isn't going to work. So try something new. Try a new mindset. Try something new that is filled with faith, hope, and love that can position you to see the open door. And God will lead you. It doesn't even matter if you're a Christian or not. God will lead you if you're looking through the open door, because this is something that God wants humanity to walk through. So figure out how you can position yourself to, number one, know that God is with you, regardless. Number two, come to terms somehow that the old mindsets and the old ways of thinking and doing things are not going to work. There's a better way of doing things that is coming forward, and ultimately it's a better way of being. It's a better way of being in the world, of knowing. And the only thing I could think of is I'm trying to give practical steps. One thing is solitude and silence and stillness is something that I've been saying for months. That's one way to access it. And if you know that your mind, your original patterns of thinking is not the thing, that you know that those can't access it, then silence, solitude, and stillness can become powerful, because at least you're going in aware that you don't have to sit there and fight your thoughts, because they don't know what they're doing anyway. They don't know what they're seeing, and they don't know what they're perceiving. So until something new comes forth and you silence the noise of the old, something new can emerge, or you're still so that a new movement comes forth, or you're quiet until new words and new language comes forth. Those can be some practical tips to do that. And yeah, we'll go from there. But just know there's a new thing. Focus on the new thing. Don't focus on the old. And position yourself as best you can to remember the old mindsets cannot access it. Yes, this is repetitive, but we need it to be able to stay focused on what is trying to emerge. So bless you wherever you are. May you have a beautiful day, and may you see the open doors and you see the closed doors and know which ones are supposed to be. Bless you.